Hey, what's up, beautiful people? Today we're here to talk about the monthly energy and astrology for April 2023. This is the month that begins the new timeline that we are all stepping into collectively and individually. We're going to find, of course, we're coming to the end of this 18-month nodal axis that's been in Taurus and Scorpio, which has been all about money, abundance, values, morals, ethics, all things like that. And we're coming into this new 18-month process. And, when we come into a new nodal axis like this is where karma and fate is stepping into a new chapter. And of course, the beginning, if you think back to 18 months ago, there was already a lot of change going on, but now this change is sort of stepping into a new beginning kind of energy where we're also, ending and clearing out old energies. And, that's asking us to all step in to a higher level version of ourselves in a new way, because Aries now we're going from fixed energy, right? When the nodal axis is in fixed energy, it's very like our belief systems can get very solidified, right? So in the last 18 months, we've been being asked by the universe to look at our belief systems, look at, our boundary systems, what we value, what we see as morally and ethically sound and correct, to us, to what we want to see happen in the world, to what we want to create, and what our vision is for our future. So, a big thing here is that, whatever you see yourself doing and growing into in this next version, it's asking us to take a deeper level of responsibility for our lives. And wherever you're at in that journey, you can feel it coming, right? Like, especially with Pluto square the nodes now, and it's going to be square the nodes for the next 6 months. It's still 4 degrees off, so we're still building up to this apex point. And also, too, don't forget that we have this new eclipse that's happening this month at 29 degrees of Aries. So it's starting at this anorectic degree. So we're getting hit with this really powerful mastery and death and rebirth kind of energy at the same time, which is, very, very intense energy on quite a few levels. So going from fixed energy to cardinal energy, we set the stage for our belief systems and what is solidified now. So when you're, connecting to people and talking to people, it's like either it's right or it's not. It's kind of black and white at this point. And now it's time to step into cardinal energy. Is all about starting, moving, going. And it's not like mutable energy, where mutable energy is changeable, right? Now we're fixed, and now it's time to take the fixed energy and start moving forward in that fixed energy to take action. And Pluto is saying it's time to take action in your transformation. Now we will still have another eclipse that's in Scorpio, within this process. So at the same time, with Pluto square the nodes and with the new eclipse in this new energy, we're also still clearing out this scorpionic kind of energy of, going down rabbit holes, of seeing what we have to let go of. And the more that we're open to letting go, the more that we're open to, being humble and acknowledging the parts of ourselves that are not exactly serving our highest and best good. It's asking us to, honor that, experience that, and, start to really master, especially our emotions. Okay. Because also too, this month we have Mars now that's in Cancer. Now Mars is in detriment in Cancer because, it's exalted in Capricorn, where there's a solid foundation. So we may be feeling like we're not on a really super steady emotional foundation, as this last 7 months in Gemini has had us in our heads a lot, right? But it's been in our heads to go back and forth to choose and decide what we want, where we want to go, and how we want to proceed. So now that it's fixed, it's like now it's time to structure that fixed notion of the self and where we're going. Okay. Now a big part of last month was seeing all this energy in Aries, which is still going strong, by the way. But, we're coming up to the sun to conjunct Chiron after Jupiter and Mercury has already conjuncted Chiron. So Jupiter conjuncted Chiron makes it big. It makes it really obvious. It brings it to the surface. Then Mercury coming up with Jupiter still within the range of Chiron, so we're still feeling that energy, right? But we came to that culmination, we brought it up. Then Mercury helps us communicate and see, how to, where the communication is, and how to settle into the communication of the self, and start to feel more empowered and embodied in the choices and decisions that we're making based on honoring our deepest wound of our identity, because Aries is a cardinal energy, and it's about our identity. Who am I? Now when I say identity, it's really our ego, right? Because our ego is just how we individuate ourselves within the collective, right? Who do we want to be as a subjective aspect to the collective whole, in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things. This time of our lives, this time in human history, is all about, the meek inheriting the earth. And meek means humble. It's all about honoring that deep wound within and nurturing the self to, be authentic and genuine, but also hold on to solid boundaries about who we are. Okay, now we have Saturn that's sitting at 2 degrees of Pisces. It's now moving in and settling into this new energy. And we're going to feel like a bit of a weight lifted off in a way. But also now, because Saturn also went from, fixed to mutable energy, Saturn is the lord of karma, right? So now it's like we can create our new timelines because that's energy is not fixed anymore. So we have to be very conscious and aware of what we are creating now, because what we're creating is going to set the stage for the next, really 28-year cycle of our life. So we just started a new 28-year cycle with Saturn. We're starting a new 20-year cycle with Pluto that's now gone from cardinal energy to fixed energy. So with this fixed T-square, that's for about the next 3 months. And then it's going to go, of course, from 1 fixed to 2 cardinal energies. So we're going to feel a really, really, really big shift fundamentally at the apex, which is going to come more in the end of June, beginning of July, when the nodes shift into these cardinal energies of Aries and Libra. And this is going to be all about relationships, how we are in relationships, how we are in relationship to ourselves, and how we're in relationship with ourselves, with other people, with our business, with our finances, with the grander scheme of the matrix of the world at large. Let's face it. The matrix is the construct that we live in, and we're able to create our own unique matrix, breaking away from the conditioning and from really the psyops that are going on, that are being heavily pounded into the collective energy right now. So we want to stay away from any kind of drama, and Mars is trine over to Saturn, and those are the 2 malefic planets, right? If you have strong Aries and Capricorn energy, because Capricorn energy rules Saturn, you're really going to feel this a lot. Okay, so with Mars now, it's going to be more emotional, because Mars is like, okay, fuck, I gotta move forward, but I gotta feel my feelings and be able to navigate my feelings to establish this shifting and changing process that's going to bring in all the things that we've been working on karmically. So the last, with Saturn, that was in Capricorn for 2.5 years, and then in Aquarius for 2.5 years. That's 5 years of this cardinal and fixed energy where Saturn ruled it, where it was like, you're going to learn a lesson, you need to see it. So a lot of karmic debt has been paid. If you've been doing the work, then good on you, congratulations, because now the positive karma is going to be coming through and coming around to help us grow into this new version of ourselves. And Mars is going to be in Cancer for a little while, definitely not, I think about like 6 weeks. So Venus is quickly creeping up to Mars as well, which it'll be conjuncting here coming up to June, July. But we also have the Uranus-Venus conjunction. Now Uranus is already at April 1st, 2 degrees beyond Uranus. So we started experiencing this last month, but I have this in my natal chart. This is really unexpected surprises within relationships, within how you receive, and sort of tests as well. Because with all this Uranian energy, Pluto coming into Aquarius is really hyper activating this Uranian energy. So really what it comes down to is whatever Saturnian blocks, which is control dynamics, any Saturnian blocks that are still there are going to be deeply highlighted, and the Uranus Venus conjunction is showing us, okay, how are you receiving? Are you allowing the blessings to come in, or do you still have learned lessons that are coming in that need to be acknowledged and felt and experienced, so that we can fully clear the lesson. And once we clear it, we're good. It's out of our body, it's out of our mind, and we can continue to grow in that sense. So let's see here. On April 3rd, we have Mercury coming into Taurus now. So of course, coming into Taurus, we're also so we've had all these conjunctions with Chiron that is moving very slowly in Aries. These between Jupiter, Mercury, and then also the Sun, that are also, two out of those three planets have already crossed over Chiron, bringing up and exposing the deeper levels of the roots of the wound. The Sun is going to shine a light on that. Let's see, the same day as the full moon on April 5th. And then it's going to, move, through, onto Taurus. And through that time, we're going to have the Sun conjunct Jupiter as well. And of course, the Sun's going to conjunct Mercury, because Mercury is going to go retrograde this month. So we start back the retrograde seasons as well this month. Okay, so really from, I think it was January 12th to let's see, April 21st. Has been all systems go, everything moving forward, all this new opportunities and new karma and new experiences, new people, places, things have all been coming into our experience and lives. And then when the retrograde season comes in, that's when we, have to start doing the detail work on, all right, now you're in this new place. Now here's the things you got to learn, things you got to grow with, things you got to experience in order to be able to really solidify this new foundation. And that's what's really the rest of the year is going to be about, is whatever new place that you found, that you find yourself in now. It's getting solidified this year, is setting the foundation for the real true beginning of this next chapter. It's going to start next year in the bigger picture of things. Okay. So, let's see, on the 5th, we have a full moon that is at 16 degrees of Libra. And, this full moon is when the Sun is exactly conjunct Chiron. So this is really the last big part of this Chiron wound of learning it, of seeing it, and, integrate. I wouldn't really just say, purging it out. I'd also say integrating the energy of that Chiron wound, being exactly in the middle of that sign, evolving through that lower level of the ego to the higher version, the higher level of the ego. And of course, on that day as well, we have Jupiter now in the third decan of Aries at 20 degrees. So, Jupiter is like, all right, let's fucking go. Let's make this happen. Saturn is speeding up as well, coming to 3 degrees, and I believe moving another degree as well, coming in this month. But Mercury is still moving quickly, but it's going to start slowing down. And on this full moon as well, we're going to see Mercury just 1 degree away from the North Node. So the North Node is seeing the future, or seeing the possibility and potential of the future, and being able to communicate it within self. This is after Venus comes Mercury. So whatever Venus brought in during the North Node, the Mercury conjunct the North Node is going to solidify with communication of how we're receiving, and little nuances that come along with that kind of stuff. All right. We also have Uranus coming to 17 degrees. So now Uranus is getting way up there in the Taurian energy, which is more of a mastery level of growth, of being sort of fluid in this fixed energy, which is kind of a contradiction, but learning how to it's almost like surrendering through action. okay, or surrendered action. That means when we take action and we step into it, we don't try to figure it out. We don't try to control it. Instead, we allow the action to teach us one step at a time. And that's, not the easiest thing to do when you're taking it, especially the action is going to be bigger, more risky steps. But do you have the faith to step in and walk more into that risky step? And when you do, the karmic rewards will come and, continue to be in that Uranian energy. So, this is really a time where, Aquarian energy is going to be kind of ruling, like it's kind of running shit now, right? And that's also, on a certain level of knowing how to have healthy boundaries through sort of emotionally aware detachment. So being aware of something, not getting attached to whatever it is that you think, is going on with your awareness of it, like being able to see something, okay, that's interesting, what does this mean, and not reacting, but as opposed to that, like, conscious responding, and being patient with yourself through the divine timing of it all. There's a lot of divine timing happening here, and the divine timing happens easier, more efficiently through faith. So our fears are definitely coming up, and we can go one of two directions with this, because Saturn now is like, all right, I'm mutable, like I'm changeable. You decide, right? Like you decide through your faith or your fear, what's going to be instilled and solidified here throughout this next 2.5 year, extravaganza, if you will. But this is where, like, escapism can become more unconscious than conscious. So up until this point, if you're indulging in escapism, or if you have weak boundaries, right, this is calling it out. But it's also saying now, all right, if that's what you choose, then that's what you choose. And like escapism, addiction, the veils are also going to be lifting on a whole new level now, this next 6 months with Pluto, especially square the nodes. Pluto square the nodes is okay, it's evolve or die. That's the kind of the energy, that we're feeling. And we're going to see that on the world stage, but that's also has to do with what's going on within. All right. So on the 8th, we have Neptune coming to 26 degrees. That's now it's in the last 5 degrees, and we haven't seen that since, I believe, the Salem witch trials. So magic is like magic, and even like a lot of witchcraft out there. Got to be careful with all that, and make sure that we're staying on this higher vibration. So any kind of lower vibration intentions are going to get met with a smack in the face, and karma is going to be coming back very quickly, but in ways that we may not expect, right? Because like whenever something comes back around, you do something and it'll come back in a different form or a different way. So we know deep down in our heart, what's right and what's not right, and we have to honor that and be true to ourselves. And you know, you know, in order to be true to ourselves, we have to trust our heart. The heart is our guide through all of this kind of craziness. And then, of course, we can start to feel the eclipse energy up to 4 weeks before and, 4 weeks after. But, if you're really in tune, it's going to really happen, more likely closer to, the date, which is on the 21st. So I'm sorry, on the 19th. The eclipse is on the 19th. And, I already made a video for the full moon in Libra. You can go check that out on my YouTube channel. And let's see, on the 8th. So on the 8th, we have Neptune at 26 degrees. And then on the 11th, we have the sun. We have the sun conjuncting Jupiter. When we have the sun conjuncting Jupiter, that is known as the luckiest day of the year. All right, because Jupiter is the great benefic, and this is in our identity, showing, hey, you've done all this work, and this is who you are now, right? So it makes everything bigger about our personality, about our identity, and it's sort of, it's like the final part of paint drying, or like when you put a new coat of paint on a car, it's when it's baking, it's solidifying itself in that energy. And this is only 3 degrees away from Eris, so this is a very kind of rebellious energy, but rebellious that's in benefit to the collective of standing up, fighting for what you believe in, or loving for what you believe in, and learning, how to approach things, most first and foremost, loving yourself, and then taking that self-love and projecting that out into the world. We are going to see a lot of projections in all different forms and fashions, and it's important to not get caught up in anybody else's projections. And that's where the escapism come in, because there's so much distraction out there that, like, there's all kinds of, spells and stuff going on with all the distraction. And it's so easy to get caught up into it now. That's why we have to be very disciplined with where we're paying our attention to. Our energy, our attention is our primary currency. So whatever we're paying our attention to, that's what's going to come back tenfold. So if you're focusing on, like your abundance, if you're focusing on your mission or your vision, or supporting a vision, or connecting and networking, right? Saturn in Pisces is asking us to structure all these things that don't have structure. So like-minded people and individuals will come together with this collective vision of, understanding, I have this piece of the puzzle, you have that piece. Let's bring these pieces together. Let's hold each other accountable, and, let's really grow and continue to manifest the things that we really want to manifest. But between the Sun conjunct Jupiter, well, Uranus conjunct Venus happening first, okay, that's going to be some unexpected, maybe information, interaction, communication. In Taurus, this is like decide, the physical body, morals, and ethics. So this could be like, I really want to, treat myself better. I want to start a new exercise regimen. I have this health problem or something. I'm going to reach out. And when you reach out, you have an unexpectedly positive experience. And, a lot of learning with this energy. It's going to reflect back to you in unexpected ways the deep parts that need to be worked on. And then when the Sun conjuncts Jupiter, it makes it personal. It culminates into this, all right, I feel the eclipse energy coming in, getting ready to, like activate this new part of me within. The Sun conjunct Jupiter is like, kind of the universe giving us a little tap on the hiney, like, all right, let's go, get out there. It's time to step into your power on another level of your individuality or your subjective nature, right? The things that make you weird, like the Aquarian energy, Pluto and Aquarius, the weirdness is going to rule the day. It's also going to rule the week, the month, the year, okay? Because we're now in this 20-year cycle. And whenever a new cycle with a transpersonal planet like this begins, it always brings in a lot of change. Like, you could suddenly change your mind about things that you want, or things that you get something you thought you wanted, but then you realize that it's not what you want, and you course correct, and all these things. You have to be kind with yourself in the process of maturing with it and allowing it to teach you, as opposed to falling victim to your triggers. And we are in trigger central right now, so being easy on ourselves, and forgiveness, and honoring the heart every step of the way is very important. And Saturn right now is also sextiling the north node and trining the south node. So on one hand, it ended last October, November, where we had a year and a half of Saturn square to the nodes, and square to Uranus. Okay, so now that it's trine and sextile, it's like the karmic blessings are coming through, but it's requiring us to face our fears and change. All right, and this is at a very deep level. A lot of we're integrating past lives, we're integrating ancestral energy. This is where all the alien stuff is really going to start to come up, and a lot of people are gonna drink the Kool-Aid, unfortunately, which is why we really have to be centered and not distracted in this like, what the hell is going on? What is this whole new world that we're stepping into? It's weird, but you gotta embrace your weirdness. That's where all the beautiful things are going to start to manifest. We're going to start to see people that are weird becoming really successful in very weird ways. Like, the conventional is no longer going to work. I mean, it may sustain for a while, but eventually like conventional, like look at, like the 9 to 5 job. Nobody wants to work a 9 to 5 anymore. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, or everybody wants to work from home or do their own thing, or try to spend more time with their families. Like kids are being pulled out of schools because the schools are clearly indoctrination now at this point, right? And pulling them out of schools. Now, how do you do it? Now you get a homeschool. How well can you homeschool with working a business and, with all the inflation, all that kind of stuff going on? Is we're going to have to get creative with ways to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish. And this is where also, like, Pluto and Aquarius is power to the people, right? So the people have to create, new school systems. The people have to create new, ways of trading currency. If we don't do that, then the powers that be are going to create their systems, and it's, in a way, it's going to just look easier. Like, oh, well, like, we're guiding you towards this, just do this. But we have a huge opportunity here to shift the narrative so that we can be more abundant and more successful. And it's the people that do that that are going to actually thrive here in this next 20 years. Okay. So we also have Venus coming into Gemini, and it's going to be trine over to Pluto, which just a couple of weeks ago, well, like the second week of March, we had Pluto square to Venus. So, that was, a difficult energy of, especially because when Venus went retrograde, actually Venus at the beginning of the year was conjunct to Pluto. Then, so that was, bringing up all the stuff that we gotta, let go to receive more. Then it was square. Then it's like, all right, now, like, it it came into our awareness from our unconscious. Then it kind of hit us hard with the realization of the work that we really got to do, which, it's going to be a lot of work. Now the trine is saying, all right, here's a gift. So this year we're getting some gifts. I mean, this month, we're getting some gifts, or we're getting some nudges, or at least some feedback from the universe about, all right, you're going in the right direction, or you're going in the wrong direction. Okay. And then we have to course correct based on the feeling that brings in with us. Okay. So this is really important to really believe in miracles, honestly, because this month is where the miracles can start to manifest in ways that you cannot possibly imagine, but you have to even believe it's possible. So if you're in this, your thoughts create your reality. And with this energy, especially this month, that's a very, very powerful statement. So watch your thoughts, watch where your mind goes when you're around people, places, things, situations, any kind of experience. And, if it's stressing you out, then then you're gonna get this deep urge to eat junk food, or, smoke cigarettes, or go for, a speedy drive down the street, or something that is not beneficial or conducive to the highest vibrational version of the self. And as we continue after April 11th, we come to the 19th, which is the next significant milestone of this month. We have this lunar eclipse. I'm sorry, the solar eclipse at 29 degrees of, let's see, 19th, 29 degrees. Let's get this exact, because I want to see. And I'm going to make another video on just this eclipse alone, because this is a very, very powerful energy. But 29 degrees of Aries, an anorectic degree. This is like, all right, it's time to go. And with the North Node still in it, this is exactly at 4 degrees 0 minutes of Taurus. So this is kind of like a little bit of Aries. Like this is clearing out some of the house energy between Aries and Taurus. So we're gonna get a big fire lit under our ass, and it's like, all right, like, I'm ready to go. Let's jump into all these things that I've learned here in the last 18 months, and start to manifest all these things that we need to do, or that we want to create and see in the world. We also have a yod here. Of course, a yod, when it's in transit like this, known as the finger of God, and this is a deep collective wound, and Pluto is involved, and we have White Moon Selena and Neptune involved. So with that energy, White Moon Selena is just like a spiritual blessing. So when it's sextile to Pluto, right, like we're seeing the important lessons that we need to learn through this Plutonian energy. Whatever house Pluto is in your chart will tell you, exactly what part of your life you need to work on. For me, it's my life purpose, my career, my business, manhood, being a father, being a leader, all these things. So look at your chart, see where this is, and it'll help you see. And then we have, of course, Black Moon Lilith, which is the learning lesson at 0 degrees of Virgo. So this is cleansing and purifying any kind of toxic sexuality and any kind of toxic rebellious nature as well. Black Moon Lilith is like, um, you know, fuck the bullshit. I'm gonna change this. It's kind of like Eris energy, where Jupiter is actually conjunct Eris here as well. So it's making that energy big too. So there's a lot of very rebellious, and Aries is kind of a rebellious sign too, right? It's like, I'm gonna take action. I want to, like, this is like the superhero, within us all, that, or the hero's journey. This is really highlighting the hero's type journey. So how many of y'all resonate with the hero's journey? And this is going to highlight where the toxic traits and aspects of that hero's journey is for us to clear it out, because we can't take that toxicity to the next level, right? We have to. So this is looking at the frustration, the irritation, the lack of patience, the lack of empathy. All right, but we got to find a fine line between, having good solid boundaries, not being taken advantage of, and stepping into our empathy for self, and taking the empathy for self and projecting that empathy for self onto others. So like, if we have expectations, right, put them out on the table. Let's all be open and clear and honest with, what we expect, either in a relationship or in a business, or expectations for yourself if you're just starting a new health and fitness routine, right? Or expectations for, a ceremony if you're going to do that, or expectations for whatever it is. Like, if you're going to get your car serviced, what are your expectations, right? And if expectations are not being met, is it my expectations that are out of alignment, or is it the other person or thing or situation that is just it's unable to honor that? Where are the blind spots in expectations? And through that, honing it, honoring it, and allowing yourself to transform. And whatever it is that your reality is teaching you right now, the reality is kind of screaming at us to make the changes and to make the shifts. Okay, we have Mercury that's coming up to 15 degrees of Taurus. It's going to retrograde here pretty soon on the 21st. So now that Mercury is going to retrograde, it's going to kind of start to speak to Uranus a little bit. So we might get a little bit of, like, deeper communication based on what we saw with the Venus in Uranus conjunction. And then Mercury is going to go ahead and retrograde, and it's going to come back. Let's see what degree it comes back to. Well, we'll look at that in a minute. But the Sun is going to conjunct Mercury after it conjuncts the North Node. So we have all this North Node energy finally coming through. And once the planets, we've had Mercury, we've had Venus. Now we're going to have the Sun, and pretty soon later on down the road, we're going to have Jupiter. The North Node is the future. The North Node is the direction in life where we're going. So whatever you've been working on, whatever vision that you've created, you're going to be getting signs from the universe that are saying, like, it's time to go. It's time to move forward. And wherever areas in your chart, this is where the new beginning happens, right? For me, it's in my first house of identity, of how I come out in the world, right? Which I'm pretty stoked about. So this new moon solar eclipse is also quincunx over to Ceres, that's over in Virgo as well. So with this quincunx, Ceres and Virgo is really nurturing the seeds that we've planted, right? And Virgo is all about purification. It's also about structure. All right, so maybe we don't really know or see clearly how to structure this new beginning, because this new beginning is so big, it's so new. We're going to see a lot of things shifting and changing and moving into a whole new realm. So wherever things are, wherever we're seeing a breakthrough in our lives, allow the change to happen and allow the lessons to teach you. And, we're going to have moments where we're going to get frustrated. We're going to have moments where we get irritated, or, we're going to have moments where things are not going to feel easy. They're actually, when deep change like this is happening, sometimes there's truths out there that we don't want to acknowledge to ourselves. So where are you hiding the truth from yourself because it's too uncomfortable? And Pluto is not comfortable. So we have to get used and comfortable with this discomfort, because it's not going away anytime soon. All right. So moving on to the 20th, we have the sun now coming into Taurus. And of course, the sun and moon are moving into Taurus together. The moon's going to conjunct the north node. So whatever this, this solar eclipse is showing you, just within hours, after the solar eclipse, the moon's going to conjunct the north node, and then about a day and a half later it's going to conjunct Mercury. So this is actually good. I like this because it's there's like a threshold here, that we're going to feel that we're stepping into, and as this threshold moves, we're going to get clarity of insight, we're going to get communication. The important thing with this is not to get in your head too much about it. Okay, it's like taking what comes in your mind and then connecting it with your heart and checking in with your heart and seeing what is real for you, what is right for you. And like, say, like, you might feel like, oh, fuck, like deep down, I know this has to happen. But this change is really scary, right? So where is your support system? Where do you get your support from? Where do you, allow yourself to, like a lot of leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs, right? Like they got to keep on that strong face, that like, a leader is one that's able to still be vulnerable, and still reach out for help, and not need to be the one that puts on the strong facade all the time. I mean, you don't want to appear, you don't want to be weak, but it's okay to appear weak if you're doing the inner work. All right, because weakness is really vulnerability, and weakness, there's kind of a gray area there. You can have weakness, in like a victim stance, or you can have weakness in a vulnerable stance, and being able to discern and disseminate what that truth is for you. And you have to have people around you that are willing to call you out but also support you at the same time. So your support system is very, very, very important here, because that support system is what's going to be able to bring you into this new place. And like, in a way, everybody is starting over right now. So however old you are, whatever it is that you're doing, the starting over feeling, like, I know for me, it's like, man, I don't want to do this start over crap anymore. It's just, it's a lot, right? It's a lot to start over, but everybody is starting a new chapter. So that feeling is sort of universal. And it's that feeling that people don't like, they don't want to bring up. So really acknowledge that, hey, look, the whole world is in a new chapter. The whole world is coming into a new version of themselves. So be easy on yourself, all right? Be easy, but be disciplined, and be structured through your patience and your accountability of yourself. The real distinction here is we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the deep details, and we have to look at, where is our boundaries healthy and not healthy? Where is our trust in ourselves healthy and not healthy? Where am I communicating with my heart and where am I not? Right? And where is the blockage there? We got to pull all these pieces apart to solidify this, to let go of the more negative influences that are in our mind and in our distractions and in our bad habits. Really, like, this is all, like, I kind of see this as like contest prep for life. If you're in the fitness industry, in your contest, you're super disciplined. You create that structure of eating your certain meals every day, and and of training, but then also too with how empathic everyone's becoming, especially from all the solar flares and whatnot, right? Like, if you're completely exhausted and you're training too much, you got to listen to your body and listen to your heart and be like, all right, I need to take a day, right? Just, I need to chill out a little bit, because you're right now we're so sensitive that our hormones can go way out of whack. All right, we can, if we burn ourselves out too much, then we're going to start neglecting things, and our bodies will start breaking down, because our bodies, we can't force anything anymore. Pluto in Aquarius also rules the central nervous system. So our central nervous systems are feeling a little shot right now. Okay, we got to, and we have to know how to have that flow within us. So if your central nervous system is feeling like it's getting too shot, I know for me back in the day, if I was just tired, I would just take, a stimulant or some pre-workout or something, and then just go handle business and go push through. pushing through is not the greatest idea here, because Pluto is pushing you through on a deeper level. And if you try to add to the push without just surrendering and letting the Pluto energy transform from the unconscious and subconscious mind to bring into the conscious mind, you can have some very detrimental effects. Okay, so I want to pull up the inside degrees for this solar eclipse, because this is pretty interesting, especially, take everything that we just talked about and add in this description. It says Dr. Jekyll drinks the potion. The unconscious mind and the subconscious mind bear seeds of worlds which the conscious mind has yet to penetrate. These worlds can turn from dark to light and back again, but they are there, crying out to be fathomed, accessed, given their part in the dance. It is no longer possible to push into far shadows that part of the light which dwells in the darkness. And so you must bring up playfully or mischievously, candidly or surreptitiously, all of the hidden places that nobody can deny how much of our energy and resources indwells the deep, and how all of our being longs to be known, to be seen, to be activated, to partake in the dance of life freely. Okay, so we have a lot of subconscious and unconscious energies coming up to be integrated into our life to honor the seeds that have been planted in our lives for the last couple of years, particularly since, January 12th, 2020, when we had this Saturn-Pluto conjunction, right? But this is sort of like we've been going through a birthing process of a new layer of our own consciousness that's integrating past lives, integrating our ancestors to create this new world. And our souls are making the decisions right now. Our egos are not. Okay, so our egos are being tested, especially with Aries represents the ego. Okay, so this is a new, it's almost like bubbling up from the unconscious mind, a new version. Like we're turning into version 2.0 of ourselves collectively. And we have the ability to choose what that 2.0 ego is going to be. It's like almost like a video game where you choose all the different personality traits, what they wear, all the colors and shit. We're kind of doing that on an etheric level. And then once that happens, then we go through this, as the nodes, have started now for this 18-month cycle, we're again birthing this new part of our unconscious into our conscious awareness, and creating this new version of ourselves. So April 20th, Taurus season. Happy birthday to all my Tauruses out there. Of course, like this is going to be, Tauruses especially right here are going to be hit. Aries and Taurus, big time. All right. So let the change unfold. Let the change happen. And the changes are going to be very obvious, right? Like you're going to be, okay, well, life is clearly pushing me in this direction, but you're going to have to let go of things that are no longer serving you in order to step into that. And you're going to have to feel the fear and do it anyways. This next 6 months, I can't stress it enough. It's all about facing your fears and letting the divine guide you. Okay. So on the 24th, let's see, 24th, we have the sun conjunct the North Node with Vesta there as well. So nurturing the vision, nurturing the future in which you want to create. We also have Mercury going retrograde on the 21st. I'm sorry. So Mercury will be going to retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus, and then heading back. The communication about all these degrees of where the North Node has gone through. We're revisiting, revising, maybe things that we missed or some lessons that we didn't fully integrate are going to be, we all have lessons to integrate, because with this unconscious part of us now becoming conscious, seeing the little pieces and parts, but we're not going to see the whole big picture. And that's the trick with this new energy, is that people that want to see like where it's going to go 5-10 years from now, like how businesses used to structure themselves based on projections. Nobody knows what the projections are, because everything is changing. Systems are collapsing. New Earth is being formed. So this is where the creative endeavors and the creative flow of, well, let's see if this works. This feels right to me, right? The divine inspiration is going to lead the way. And the things that are trying to be controlled or manipulated in any kind of negative way, we're going to start to see that stuff crashing and burning and falling very, very, very quickly. All right. So then coming to the end of the month, actually, this is the last significant aspect of this month. The sun conjunct the North Node is, our spirit, seeing this new direction, this new place, karmic blessings coming into play. And then, of course, next month, when we get into May, we're going to see Jupiter conjunct the North. Actually, let's see exactly when that is. I'm actually quite curious. Let's see. So it comes in on May 16th. Jupiter comes into Taurus, and then we have on. Okay, so not until May 31st. May 31st is when Jupiter conjuncts the North Node at 3 degrees of Taurus. And then of course when Jupiter retrogrades, it's going to dip back into Aries, and then come into Jupiter again. But this is a very quick stint in Aries. But I believe that Jupiter coming into Taurus is going to be where we really start to see the karmic blessings and benefits. And Jupiter conjunct the North Node is again very auspicious for expanding, evolving, really making huge this vision and this understanding. So this is where we really want to dream big. Okay, that's still a little little farther in the future. So let's stick to where we're at right now. But some good things to look forward to. Finally, some positive karma coming around for all the hard work that we've done. But as of right now is concerned, we still have some stuff to move through with the Chiron energy, where we have to look at that deep wound within, our deep, mommy and daddy issues, stuff like that, so that we can nurture and mother ourselves by integrating these deep wounds and shifting them and transmuting them. There's a lot of alchemy that's going on right now, right? So I hope and pray that these situations go as smoothly for you as possible, and alchemize this energy and step into your greatness, because we all have greatness within us, and it's time to really step into that greatness. And as we do, we're going to be facing some fears, and we're going to be overcoming them. And as we do each one, we're going to create more and more trust in ourselves and our soul, and our ability to manifest. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful month, and I'll see you all on the next report. Aho.